Now then, it's Carl from Studio In Car, back with another Mini. Now I realise that not everyone who watches our videos knows all of our previous videos. You might be here for the first time. If you are, welcome. It's good to have you aboard. I'm going to run you through this Mini, and I'm also going to discuss with you our 5 tiers of system that we do, and then our custom system that's beyond that. Alright, let's take a look. So this is a 2020 Cooper S, and this is at a level 3 plus. So the plus option in our Mini systems is usually the addition of an active subwoofer enclosure outside of system 5, which has a passive subwoofer enclosure and a dedicated monoblock amp. So if it's a system 3 plus, it means it's got a DSP amp, 3-way active front end, some integration harnesses, and then some handmade stuff from ourselves. And the plus, like I say, signifies the active sub box. In this job in particular, it's the JL ACP 108 active 8-inch woofer. Wicked piece of kit. Every system up until system 4, so 1, 2 and 3, they run the AP BMW S8, so the 8-inch underseat woofer, the K4E, so the 4-inch mid-range, and the Audison AP tweeter in a HK pillar. So we supply the HK pillar. They're about £115, I think. They fluctuate week on week, really. And a couple of other things, whether the car needs ASD retention, or an ASD retention harness, or things like that. But we worry about that. We just let you know what those sorts of things cost. Level 1 is a speaker upgrade, so it is the AP BMW S8 and the K4E. Now, we don't recommend that you finish there. Some people have had that done and they're all right with it, but the speaker is a slightly heavier load than what the OEM head unit requires. So often you would think, I'll upgrade my speakers, everything will get better. It doesn't really work like that. When we install something that is slightly less efficient but can deal with higher power handling, we're going to need some power at some point. So the key in these cars is a DSP amplifier. Now that comes in at stage 2, where we do a passive active setup. So we do a K4E in the door, the S8, so the 8-inch underseat woofers, and then a 4-channel amplifier, and we run passive crossovers with the mid and tweet, and we run the active underseat mid-bass driver. So that's level 2. Level 3 is a full active 3-way set. So we remove that passive crossover, we wire actively for the tweeter and the mid-range to get them on their own channel, so we have a lot more control. The amplifier takes a step up as well, so we go in with the AFM 8.14 bit from Audison. You're not getting any easier to say. Which has a load more power as well, so we get a bunch more output. Now, another thing you need to know about just upgrading the speakers in a Mini or any BMW is you aren't going to get any more volume. You'll get no more volume from a speaker upgrade. In fact, sometimes you'll get less because the speakers are a little bit less sensitive. Okay, so they need a little bit more go about them to get them going. That's a good thing because it means we have plenty of leeway for power, so we can put a load more power into those speakers and they'll deal with it. But as you can see, you can't simply trick your way to a good system by adding some speakers. All right, so level 1 for us lays the sort of foundations for a 3-way front end. We don't often do just a level 1, and when we do, it's usually even lower than a level 1, and it'll just be something like a K4E for your guy who has a BMW or Mini that didn't come with tweeters. Ridiculous, but it happens. Okay, this car was the same. Option 4, we use Morel BMW drop fit speakers, so they're a level above and they're a price bracket above as well. You know, nice and sweet sounding speaker for a BMW drop fit. We use the Audison AFM 12.14 bit, so we're stepping up the power game. Now we can start bridging multiples, so mid-range tweeters, the lot, and we get a bunch more power, a load more headroom and output, and we still get that sort of DSP control. We also add in the AF-M1D mono amplifier and a passive sub box. So I said earlier that our passive sub boxes start at step 5. They don't, they start at step 4, right? That's step 4. Step 5, we go for Morel's premium BMW drop fit. Now that's quite an expensive set of speakers at £1,800, but it is the top BMW drop fit. All of the rest of the system stays the same, okay? So all of the installation of these is relatively similarly priced because the installation is quite similar. Between 4 and 5, it's exactly the same. Between 3 and 4, it's quite similar, but not exactly the same. And 1 and 2 are slightly different. But all of our 5 stages, I'm trying to make this not confusing. I'm getting mixed up myself now. All of our 5 stages are designed with OEM drop fit in mind. So there isn't a stage within there that has a product that is something has to be made bespoke, or there's nothing sort of custom that has to be made. It helps us be efficient in here. It helps with cost as well, because a lot of fabrication is quite expensive, and we don't necessarily need to do it in terms of sound. And then we have our option 6, which is completely custom for the guy that's been through a number of times. He knows exactly what he wants, and the drop fit solutions don't work for him, and he wants to go bespoke. Now, you know, we do that sort of system quite often, not specifically to minis, but in all sorts of cars, and that's the sort of studio in-car custom way of doing things. There's a load of them cars out there, and they sound fantastic. But yeah, those 5 options are within the drop fit. It means that you can completely return the car back to stock. So if it's a lease, or if it's got to go back or something like that, you can take it back. Or for resale, you can keep all of your kit. You needn't sell your kit with your car. So just take it out. It's worthwhile coming back, have us remove it, and then we can put it in the next car or the next car. Yeah, that's our sort of 5 drop fit levels for the Mini, and a little bit of info on a custom one, which I'm sure if you want, you'll tell us about that. If you want the information from those 5 steps, you can give us a shout, info@studioincar.co.uk, and I'll send you over the information you need. You can run through them, see where you land, see where you sit, where you're comfortable, and then just drop me a message and we'll put it together and we'll get it booked in. All right, they're great systems to upgrade this. It doesn't just go for the Mini. Every BMW is exactly the same as well, bar early 1 series and things like that, but we know that it's not going to creep up on us. So that goes for all the BMW guys, all the Mini guys. Yeah, great upgrades, especially if you start like this one with the base spec stereo with just mid-ranges and just the under-seat drivers. Anyway, let's take a look around this Mini. I've kept you for long enough now, but I wanted to run through our sort of 5-tier system for the Mini. Let's have a look around this one. Not tons to see, because like I say, they're all designed as a drop fit, but I can show you how things look. All of these systems as well run entirely from the OEM system, so there's no menus or anything you have to go through. All your phone calls and everything, they all just work as they do. You will get an optional bass controller, okay? I say optional as in an additional bass controller, so you can just control your sub when you want to control your sub. Let's have a look. So run-of-the-mill Cooper S, it's nice this in the grey, I quite like it. But as our systems go, there's no surprises here. So that's the OEM boot floor. Okay, for decent bass, you need to raise it to the 2nd level. All right, so our subwoofer is in here, tucked away. You can still put stuff there. In option 4 and 5, that sub box is a little bit larger, but it still sits under that top level boot floor. Through here, you can see it possibly more so in the B-roll, but that is Audison's K4 mid-range in there. And then upwards we've got the HK pillars, which is a nice OEM addition, that in cars that didn't have them. They sit quite well, they don't look out of place. Under there we've got our bass controller. as so. And then under this seat we have our amplifier. If I just press this button, yeah, you'll see its light flash in a second. There you go. And that's it turning on. It'll flash a few times and then it'll go solid. And that means we're on. And that just sits nicely underneath there. Now, in option 4 and 5, we've got one under each seat because we've got a passive woofer in the back with a, you know, a nice hefty, powerful mono block. Small footprint, but yeah, good power. That has its own dedicated bass controller as well, the same as this sub box does. And yeah, loads more volume, loads more clarity. We can set it up so the staging's really nice. It's just a really good system for the BMW, and it's not, you know, it's not a disruptive fit. Like it's like I say, it can all just be returned back to stock. Anyway, that's BMWs and BMW Minis in a nutshell with our 5-tier system. Hopefully it hasn't been too confusing. Hopefully it has, you know, caused more questions, because that just means you can give me a shout, all right, and I'll explain them. Anyway, take it easy. This is Stephen's Mini and he's on his way to pick it up. So, relatively quick video. Laters.